Hi there, this is Chee-Wee here, and in this video we will be introducing to you about aerobics exercises and its importance as part of the lifestyle of any persons. Now these are the sections that I will be covering in my video: the relationship between physical activity and health, what is aerobics exercise, the health benefits of aerobic exercise, and some basic overview of the physiological changes during aerobic exercise training. Now before we look at aerobic exercise, let's just take a few moments to put into context and think about how humans have been engaging in physical activity. Now many millennium ago, movement meant survival. Now we needed to move in order to collect and hunt for the food we eat, to seek safety and shelter. However, the role of movement has changed. Although movement is also needed for survival, but now it is engaged in terms of providing protection from chronic diseases and also in improving our quality of life. So, what is physical activity? Now, the World Health Organization defines physical activity as any bodily movement that's produced by skeletal muscles that requires energy expenditure. Now from the media, you will know that physical activity levels in the general population is fairly poor. Our changing lifestyle in the modern era also means that only 35% of men and 24% of women on average reach the recommendations for physical activity. Overall, men are generally more active than women, and children are more active than adults. There is also a general decline in physical activity as we age. So, what is the minimum amount of activity required for health? The global recommendation is that adults should engage in moderate physical activity for about 150 minutes per week, or about 75 minutes of vigorous physical activity per week. If you want to get fitter, you need to exercise more than this. Now this is approximately about 30 minutes per day of moderate physical activity. That can be done in one go, or it could be made up of shorter bursts of activity of 10 minutes in length. If you exercised at a lower intensity than the moderate level, you will need to exercise for longer. This is because aerobic exercise is a product of intensity, duration, and frequency. In addition to the recommendation for aerobic exercise, it is also recommended that muscle strengthening exercises involving major muscle groups are performed for more than 2 days of the week. Physical activity is a general description of bodily activity. Aerobics exercise is something more specific. The American College of Sports Medicine defines aerobics exercise as any activity that uses large muscle groups and can be maintained continuously and is rhythmic in nature. Although this definition sounds very generic, the name and definition of this activity actually implies that muscles used in this type of activity rely on aerobic metabolism to extract energy for their functioning. So, can you think of some forms of aerobics exercise that you do or perhaps have seen others doing? The purpose of engaging in physical activity and exercise for improving our health exists on a continuum. On one end of the healthy continuum, we engage in physical activity to ensure that we live our lives and do our activities of daily living without any difficulties. Through this, one of the benefits is also that we reduce our risks of long-term diseases, such as cardiovascular conditions, diabetes, and stroke. On the other end of the healthy continuum is to push our bodies to be at its optimal condition and functioning. Exercise will be engaged to specifically target and improve various aspects of our bodily functions such as balance, agility, strength, and endurance. It is important to understand the goal of each person so that you can appropriately set the correct type and intensity of physical activity or exercise to achieve either health or fitness, and every person will be different. When we engage in regular physical activity, there are some health benefits. For example, it decreases a person's risk to type 2 diabetes. It will also reduce a person's risk of coronary coronary artery disease, hypertension, and stroke. Research has also found that regular physical activity also reduces the risk of cancer, which can have a huge impact on a person's life. And physical activity can also counteract the effects of osteoporosis. And this is especially important for women after menopause. Beyond the usual physical benefits, regular physical activity also has other important health benefits, such as anxiety reduction, improving our mood and self-esteem, and it may also improve our sleep and cognitive function as well. There are some basic principles for aerobic exercise training that you have to bear in mind, and this varies for achieving health or achieving fitness. The first principle is overload. This means that the activity should stress the body slightly beyond their current state in order for beneficial physiological changes to take place. And the next principle is specificity. And this relates very much to targeted changes that you want to see in the person engaging in the physical activity. This is more related to muscle adaptation. For example, if you do regular running for training, this won't translate and make you a better swimmer. That is, skills or action-specific improvements won't occur. The only equivalent improvement that you experience is the cardiac and pulmonary changes, that is, your overall endurance. And we will look at these principles in later videos. As all of you will know, when we exercise, we need to keep doing it to maintain the benefits. The effects will eventually wear off if we don't continue. Now this explains why people who have been unwell, such as people who have been in hospital for a while, will experience detraining or reduction in physical endurance. Along with the health benefits of exercise, this is also why physiotherapists may have to work on a patient's aerobic fitness. Beyond the longer and more long-term benefits of exercise, even small bouts of exercise can be beneficial, and these benefits, when experienced regularly, can build up to more permanent adaptations and benefits for all of us. For example, after a single bout of exercise, there is improvement of the following physical outcomes: your blood lipid levels, your blood pressure, and your blood glucose levels. Interestingly, a single session of exercise can increase the good cholesterol or high-density lipoproteins, and at the same time decrease the bad cholesterol, the low-density lipoproteins. The above can be observed about 18 to 24 hours after exercise and may even last for the next 72 hours. Although you may not feel it, but the benefits are still there. Another almost immediate beneficial change from exercising is the improvement in blood pressure. Exercise lowers your systolic and diastolic blood pressure, and these changes is maintained 12 to 16 hours after exercising. A similar effect also occurs for blood glucose levels, where it is lowered 2 to 3 days after exercising. Now that we have looked at the positive benefits of exercise, we can look at exercise from a lens of epidemiology. In epidemiology, there is often data collected about the mortality of the population. Mortality rate simply means the death rate. It has been found that people in all age groups experience lower mortality rates if they have been more physically active. Physical fitness is a major predictor of the mortality rate of the population. There is even strong evidence to suggest that the more physically active you are, you have a lower risk of mortality, or more specifically, all-cause mortality. All-cause mortality is the death rate from all causes of death for a population in a given time period. It is true that as a person ages, their functional capacities also slowly declines. However, if a person remains active, they are able to continue performing to a high physical capacity even into their 80s. This shows that although aging is inevitable, however, this is not the whole story. It is possible that a general decline of physical health in later years is also partly due to increasing inactivity. It has been shown that even if a person has been inactive for most of their lives, if they decide to become more active in their later years, they can still benefit from the health improvements of physical activity, no matter what their age is. If physical activity confers benefits no matter what age a person is, and possibly also benefit anyone with any long-term conditions, what is the role of physiotherapists in helping people to gain these benefits of physical activity? Now, there are two general ways that physios can be involved in promoting physical activity. And one is the more traditional method of implementing and delivering physical activity programs in our professional practice, such as rehabilitation classes. Another way is to become more involved in health promotion. And health promotional activities usually involve education-driven and community involvement of activities that influence people's attitude, beliefs, in order to change people's physical activity behavior to gain the benefits that we spoke about earlier on. So, it is important that we use both methods in order to influence and convince people of the health benefits of physical activity and exercise, so that the general population experiences these benefits and the people we see in our services experience better health and fitness as well. Now, this is the end of the video, and I hope that this video provided you with a quick overview of the importance of physical activity and aerobic exercise. In the meantime, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.